How to recognize and resist emotional manipulation. Dysfunctional people use tactics to get you to do what they want. Emotional manipulation is when somebody purposefully gets you to feel a certain feeling which they then exploit for their own means. So how can you recognize emotional manipulation? Well, the first one is threats. They know what you fear losing. They know what you fear. So they'll use the threat of that to get you to back down to do what they want. It could be the threat of suicide. Sometimes suicide is a manipulation. I'm going to kill myself if you don't give me what I want, if you don't let me live home, if you leave me. So you've got to assess that threat and you got to say, hey, is this a real threat? Is this person really going to do this? If yes, then I've got to call. If not, maybe I'll call their bluff and call and get some help for them. If it's not, I'm going to ignore it and know that this threat is manipulation, and I'm going to keep going. Maybe it's the threat of taking the kids away if you leave a marriage, the threat of keeping all the money and not giving you any money to do what you need to do. Maybe it's the threat of cutting you out of their will if you don't do whatever it is that's demanded. It could be the threat of cutting off a relationship. It could be the threat of telling somebody something. It could be the threat by a child. If you throw me out on the street, I'm going to use drugs. If you don't give me this, then I'm going to end up destitute. I'm going to go live with dad if you don't give me everything I want. So whatever that threat is, assess the reality of it, if there's anything you need to do, and if not, recognize that that threat is pure manipulation. Now, guilt. Guilt is whatever it is that you have self-doubt in. If you doubt that you're a good mom, a good dad, a good wife, a good husband, if you're prone to feel like you have to take care of people, you have to do whatever it is they want, otherwise you feel bad. If you feel like you've got to do everything for people and saying no is difficult, whatever it is that you have that self-doubt in, this person will use to exploit you. They'll tell you, well, you're not a good wife, you're not a good dad, you're not a good mom, you're not a good husband, you're not a good daughter, you never do anything for me, you never call me, you're not a good son, you don't help me, you don't come visit your dad and I. Whatever that is, they will use that guilt to make you feel like you have to do whatever it is they're asking for. Next one is triangulation. Triangulation brings in a third person, either physically or just their name. The pastor agrees with me. Our son sees the same problem in you. Our daughter told me that she agrees that you're wrong in this. My mother says that a good wife should do this. And my mother was surprised to learn that that's what you were not, that you wouldn't do that for me. That's bringing in a third person to manipulate you. The last one is victimization. Victimization, the person acts helpless, they can't take care of themselves, they put that responsibility for taking care of them onto you. They say, poor me, my life is bad, everything's got wrong, I'm by myself, I don't have anything, I lost my job, I've been sick, my wife abandoned me, all these things, and that causes you to feel sorry for them to where you feel like you have to help them. Now, what are some types of emotional manipulators? There's 4. There's intimidators, dependents, pretenders, and projectors. We'll talk about each one a little bit. Intimidator. Intimidators use power and position to get you to do what they want. It could be through abuse, punishment, threats, withholding things in the relationship. Whatever it is, they use that to intimidate you so that you'll back down and you'll do whatever it is they want. Dependents are like those victims, the people that say, I'm helpless, and they project onto you that helplessness. Like, I can't take care of myself, it's your responsibility. I'm a dependent person, I'm incapable. And so what happens is you feel like you have to, and then you're manipulated. Next one is pretenders. Pretenders pretend not to get it. They don't understand what your concerns are, your problems, your hurts, your demands, your boundaries. They just act clueless. They act like they have no idea at all. And by doing that, they manipulate you into backing down, giving them a pass, and then they get to continue doing whatever they want. The last one is a projector. Projector puts onto you the characteristics that he or she actually has. If they're cheating, they'll accuse you of cheating in the relationship. If they lie, they'll accuse you of lying. If they are abusive, they'll accuse you of being abusive. If they're controlling and emotionally manipulative, they'll say you're controlling and emotionally manipulative. Whatever it is, if they're mean, they'll tell you, hey, you're mean. Whatever it is that you don't do, and they do, but they know you don't want to be accused of, because see, if they accuse you of being controlling, what are you going to do? You're going to back down. You're going to say, I don't want to be controlling. I don't want to be a manipulator. I don't want them to think that I'm mean or that I'm doing these things. So they use that to kind of change the subject to continue to doing whatever it is they want to do and getting what they want. Now, what do you do? If you've heard this and you've recognized, I've got one or more people in my life who are emotionally manipulative, what can you do? You can resist the emotional manipulation, and I'm going to help you know how to do that. The first one is stop trying to change emotional manipulators. They don't want to change. They want to continue doing what they're doing because it works for them. They like to manipulate. They expect to get what they want, and they're willing to do what it takes to do it. The next one is know your weaknesses and how you're usually pressured to give in. What threats work with you? What triggers guilt in you that gets you to back down? What are you afraid of somebody knowing, or somebody else that the person can bring in and say, this person, are you so worried about your mother-in-law's opinion that if your spouse brings that in, that you'll instantly back down? What works for you? Victimization. Why are you willing to buy into somebody's helplessness rather than give them the responsibility of taking care of themselves? What is it in you that has to be worked on for you not to do that? The next one is don't use emotional arguments, stick to the facts. You're hurting me, I don't like what you're doing, you're mean, you're not being a good husband, this bothers me, I'm upset, this makes me scared. That isn't going to work because they don't care about your emotions. They don't care about how they affect you. They don't care about you. They only care about themselves. The next one is don't expect to win arguments or convince the person that they're right or wrong. Why? They don't care if they're right or wrong. They know what they want. They're willing to get it. They're not looking to resolve problems, hear your point of view, fix the relationship, make things right. Okay, that's not their goal. Next one is don't try to defend yourself. It won't work for the exact same reasons. They're not trying to get to a place of understanding and truth in the relationship. They're not caring about your part, your point of view. It's all about the manipulation. Stop the manipulative interactions as soon as you can. Why? Because they're better at it than you. The longer you go in the conversation, the greater the chance that the manipulation is going to work, because they're going to find that area that gets to you and you're going to give in. So walk out of the room, hang up the phone, leave the house, end the conversation. Just say, get back to you, gotta go, done talking, no thank you, whatever it is that you can do to get out of the conversation. I'll think about it, just get out of the conversation. Next one, know your boundaries and stick to them. What are you willing to do for someone and not do? What are you willing to help with? What are you willing to tolerate in the relationship? Know what they are. Know how much emotional manipulation, if it doesn't change, maybe you're going to make a decision about the relationship. Know what your boundaries are with the threats. If this threat happens, this is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to handle it. Next one is limit the time you spend together if you have that option. If this is a spouse and you're not willing to separate or leave the marriage, then you've got to figure out how to do that. A parent, spend less time with them. A sibling, same thing. Friend, you get to choose your friends. You don't have to continue the friendship. Dating, get out. You don't want a lifetime of emotional manipulation. Limit the time that you spend together. Next one, don't take the threats personally. Detach from it. This emotional manipulator accuses you of being mean, a liar, all these things. Just go, there they go again. That's emotional manipulation. I'm not going to react to that. I'm not going to get hurt by it. I'm not going to take it personally. I'm going to see it for what it is. Very helpful to do that. Next one is work on getting stronger so you know what you believe and what you want and what you need. If you're stronger, the emotional manipulation will stop working. Next one, you want to share the interaction with someone else to get validation from that person who could say, yeah, that was manipulation. Yeah, that wasn't good. That wasn't healthy. Whoa, that person was trying to get you to feel guilty. Can you see how that person was trying to use fear to get you to give in? It helps you to hear a healthy person's perspective on that. Find somebody that you can share some of these things with, especially as you're trying to recognize the emotional manipulation, because that will help you to feel stronger in dealing with it. The last one, if it's possible, without causing the situation to escalate, tell the person that what they just said is outrageous. I can't believe you just said that. Did you seriously just threaten me that you're going to kill yourself? Did you seriously just threaten to tell all our children about my problems? That's outrageous. How could you possibly do that? Are you really trying to make me feel guilty as a mom? Are you trying to make me feel guilty as a wife? Because I really feel pretty good about me as a wife. I think I do a pretty good job. So you're gonna react like that's craziness. I am not a liar. I can't believe you just accused me of being a liar. I can't believe you just accused me of being unfaithful. That's crazy. That's outrageous. What you're doing is you're giving it back to that person. Again, you're not going to give them a whole list and start defending yourself, but your reaction is kind of like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you were actually willing to say that to me or do that. So if you do all these things, if you use these tools with all this manipulation, you will be able to resist the emotional manipulation and get stronger in your relationships. Thank you for watching this video on Change My Relationship. You can also go to my website and print out a copy of this, which will help you in dealing with your difficult people in your life and your difficult relationships. There are also books that I have on my website that will give you additional tools for dealing with these difficult people.